Good day, folks. Thank you for joining us here at Your Health. We have a very special edition of Your Health today. Today it is Because You Asked. This is Caller Day today, but it's a special slant on today's program. Not only will we be taking your calls, but I've gone through many of the letters and emails you sent us asking your health questions, and we've summarized the most common and some of the most unusual questions. So we're going to try to answer as many questions of yours as we can today. Plus, Cindy has something special for you. That's our program for today. It's a learning day. Stay tuned for that, but first let's go to our news. Let's see what's happening in the health world. New government research shows attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD, is both underdiagnosed and overdiagnosed in America, depending on where a child lives. Researchers followed more than 10,000 kids ages 5 through 13 in 2 states and 4 school districts. In South Carolina, about 8% of the kids had enough symptoms to fit the ADHD diagnosis, but 10% were being treated with medication. In Oklahoma, about 11% of the kids met the ADHD criteria, yet only 7% were being treated. Researchers also found that the medication was often prescribed for the wrong group of children. Among the South Carolina kids taking medications for ADHD, only 40% actually met the criteria for the condition. In Oklahoma, only 28% of the kids being treated with medication met the criteria for ADHD. Folks, the details of this study may be a little hard to follow. Here are the facts again. In South Carolina, more kids are treated for ADHD than have it. In Oklahoma, fewer kids diagnosed with the disorder are treated with medication. Among the kids prescribed a medication, only about 1/3 actually met the diagnostic criteria of ADHD. Folks, it has been my experience that when the practice patterns of the most highly trained professionals in the world are this inconsistent, it means that the scientific community does not truly understand the cause and the best treatment for the condition. In other words, far too many doctors do not know what they're doing when they attempt to diagnose and treat ADHD. I would also like to add that another small study from Michigan State found that if kids with ADHD are allowed to just exercise for just 20 minutes during each school day, their math and reading scores greatly improve. And 2 different studies showed a higher risk of ADHD in children when mothers or babies have high blood levels of mercury, lead, and plastic byproducts called PCBs. Eating cherries helps to prevent gout attacks. About 8 million Americans have this form of arthritis. Researchers from Boston University evaluated more than 600 gout patients for 1 year. The scientists discovered if gout patients ate cherries or took cherry extract, they were about 45% less likely to have a gout attack. And if those patients consumed cherry products and also took the prescription medication allopurinol, they were 75% less likely to suffer a gout attack. Folks, cherries as a gout treatment have long been a natural medicine concept, but this may be the best study yet to confirm what many have long believed and know to be true. The regular consumption of cherries helps to prevent gout attacks. And here's an overall strategy. Consume cherries or cherry extract. Reduce the amount of high fructose corn syrup you consume, and that one's very important. Drink at least 2 quarts of water every day, and enjoy a glass or 2 of real lemonade or orange juice daily. Do your very best to exercise regularly. That's also very important. Now, this regimen is essential for the gout patient. Every attack of gout increases significantly the likelihood of permanent joint damage, and I know you don't want that. Well, today on Your Health, we'll be taking your calls, plus we'll attempt to answer a few of the health questions that you have asked us by mail or email. Today may be your day. Get on the phone and give us a call, please. We'll be right back.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Welcome back, everyone. It is such a blessing to be with you today, and we're going to be taking calls the entire hour. So pick up that phone, dial that number. We want to talk to you today. That's why we call the show Your Health, because it's about you. So let's get right to it. Let's go to Pennsylvania and welcome Sharon to the show. Hi, Sharon.
Hello, Sharon.
Hi,
are you there?
I'm here. Hi, Dr. Becker. Hi, Cindy. I am so thrilled. Thank you for what you do. I've learned so much from you already.
Oh, thank you so much.
Looking forward to your advice today.
What's on your mind, girl?
Oh, lots of problems, and they seem to all be related to mercury toxicity and systemic yeast, I'm told. And
Mercury? You have toxicity to mercury?
yes.
Tell me about that. Have you had a blood test that shows that, or a hair sample, or how do we know this?
Hair analysis.
Hair analysis, that's probably the best way to do it. Do you have any idea where this came from?
I do not know.
That's, that's a scary thought.
It is.
If we have a toxic exposure to something and we show blood levels, but we don't know where it came from, that's very unsettling, because you don't know quite how to avoid more exposure, right, Sharon?
Exactly, yes.
Have you worked in a smelting plant, soldering with the old type of solder, or, that'd be lead, that'd be lead. Mining operations or any industrial process that used mercury, nothing to your knowledge, huh?
No, nothing like that at all.
What is your doctor proposed? Are you on a chelation program, or what's going on with this?
Actually, it hasn't been treated at all yet. I'm trying to find a doctor that treats it.
Okay. Have you done anything to help yourself?
I have been doing I've been using, I don't know if this helped or not, but the medicinal mushrooms, the alpha-lipoic acid, astragalus. I don't have my whole list of supplements here.
Okay. But you've been watching the program, and we've talked about things that chelate and help rid heavy metals out of the body. Do you feel as though it's helping you? Are we making progress?
I definitely do, yes.
Okay. I have a question. What led you to suspect that maybe you were toxic on something? What kind of symptoms were you experiencing, Sharon?
Well, just not feeling well, a lot of fatigue.
Right.
Neuropathy.
Oh my, yes.
Chronic inflammation, skin rashes. I don't know if this is related to that, or the yeast, but I developed food sensitivities, joint pain, muscle cramps, hormone imbalances. I mean, there's a whole list of
Yes. Well,
things.
You're describing the exact list of symptoms you see with heavy metal poisoning, mercury in particular. Well, let's talk a little bit about this. Heavy metals, first you have to understand, everyone, that heavy metals are all around us as part of the earth. They come from the earth. And exposure, we all have a background noise. It's like white noise background of heavy metals in our bodies. But when the levels increase, these heavy metals interfere with our two valence minerals. What I mean by that, calcium has a 2+ charge on it, the ion does. Magnesium has a 2+, zinc, there's quite a list of those. And so when we have enough heavy metals in our system, and when we get into this toxic level, it takes over, it inhibits these other metals and minerals from doing their job, and it binds up these enzymes, and bad things start happening. Perhaps the most important thing to know about getting rid of heavy metals is that we have to do it very slowly. If we pull them out of your body very fast, it makes you feel bad, and you can reintroduce another level of toxicity. Sharon, do you have any mercury amalgams in the mouth? Could that be a cause?
Yes, I do.
Well, that could be it. That could be it. Research has shown that by brushing the teeth and chewing gum, or just chewing food, we vaporize the mercury, and you release more in the day then you can essentially get rid of in over a month. Because your body will help you get rid of it, but it can only do very small amounts. So some general principles. You know, eat a high fiber diet, lots of fruits and vegetables, because the fibrous agents in these types of foods help to bind up heavy metals and pull it out. And it's a very slow process, but it does help. Protect the kidneys with powerful antioxidants. And I heard you mention alpha-lipoic acid. That's a very good way, because when the doctors will want to do EDTA and other agents that chelate and bind out these heavy metals. And it does it by binding them and excreting it through the kidneys. Well, this is hard on the kidneys, and that damage done to the kidneys by that process can be negated to at least some degree by antioxidants like alpha-lipoic acid. Curcumin would be very good for that. Grapeseed extract, resveratrol, help to protect the kidneys. Also, don't forget the omega-3s are important for the membrane stability of the glomeruli unit. Okay, Dr. Talk, the cells of the kidney need omega-3s to maintain the barriers that the kidney function is established on. So these are all very important, but Sharon, I'm concerned, and I want you to, please, will you be able to go see a doctor and have help with this? Because it may be a little further advanced than you realize.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, so you're going to be able to do that. And honey, I think we should send her a copy of the dentist book who deals with mercury toxicity, so she can read it and
Dr.
learn a little
Huggins'
more.
book. Okay.
Dr. Huggins' book on mercury and fillings. Would you like a copy of that book, Sharon? You'll learn more about mercury toxicity than probably you care to know, but you will have a good road plan, a guidepost to lead you through this treatment. How's that sound to you, girl? Also want to send you some cordyceps, some alpha-lipoic acid, the grapeseed extract, the fish oil, things to help detoxify your body. Cracked chlorella is outstanding, but please understand, you know, people say, I want to get this over with quick, so I'm going to take 10 cracked chlorella today. If you do that, you will feel terrible. And I'm warning you, you have to go slow, and it's best to get the help of a doctor because our body can only get rid of so much. Does that make sense, Sharon? Do you feel like you're in a good direction now?
That does make sense. Now, does this also help with like the leaky gut? I was told I still have a lot of food sensitivities.
You might be pleasantly surprised how all those things clear up when we get that mercury level down to the normal background noise that we all have.
Okay.
You know,
Sounds
God
good.
gave us an amazing ability to heal, but to recruit those components of our healing ability, you have to have all your essential nutrients, the probiotics, the gut flora has to be in place, got your vitamin D levels, everything has to be just right, and then, you know, miracles happen. So your care package is on the way, the book is coming too, and hang in there, help is on its way. Now,
Thank you so much.
you know, one of the most common questions we have at our business at BioInnovations is, what supplements should I take if I'm healthy? Now, Sharon called, and she's in a tough situation with mercury toxicity, but there are many people who are in relatively good health, and they say, I'm in good health, what should I take just as prevention? And that's one of the best questions we could ever have. I believe, and this is my belief is based on good research, that every American should at least take a basic multiple vitamin and mineral, okay? Now, that's a good idea, but virtually all the multiple vitamins out there are low in vitamin D. There's not enough 400 isn't anywhere near enough. 1,000 is now, we know, not near enough. So with that basic multiple and vitamin, if you're healthy, add the vitamin D. And the research shows your level is anywhere from 3,000 to 7,000. It could be a little higher, a little lower. 3 is for a petite woman. 7,000 is for a guy like me. I'm 210 pounds, 6'3", okay? That's what I take to maintain a level of 50 to 60 of the vitamin D. You're shooting for a 50 to 70 nanograms per milliliter blood level of vitamin D for optimal health. If you get up over that 100 mark, it may cause a little atrial fib. There is a top end with vitamin D. You can't, it's not like vitamin C where you can take gram after gram and essentially be okay. You don't want to take too much, but typically 3 to 7. Now, the grade school kids should be at 1,000. Once the child is up to our body weight, basically, they follow the same for the adults. Now, what else should they have? We have a multiple vitamin, multiple mineral with extra D. The next thing everyone should have is and a source of omega-3s. If you're vegetarian, it would be like a flaxseed oil. If you are not vegetarian, and the best, of course, is fish oil for the EPA DHA. That is a animal product. And so that would be a good thing, and that helps. You know, recently there was a study showed that taking fish oil did not reduce the risk of heart disease, and that was released to all the media outlets. That was a bogus trial. They did this among a population that lived on islands. People live on islands. They eat fish all the time. So if you're eating fish all the time and I give you one, just one fish oil pill, is that going to make a difference? No, it isn't. Folks, fish oil helps prevent heart disease. Okay, we have so much research on it now. The next thing, probiotic. If you don't like yogurt, buttermilk, sour cream, this type of thing, you better take a probiotic every day. If you eat a low fruit and vegetable diet, you need to add the carotenoids, you know, your alpha and beta carotene, lutein, lycopene, astaxanthin, zeaxanthin, fiber. If you are on a low fruit and vegetable diet, you need those carotenoids. These antioxidants help prevent disease. If you eat a lot of fast food and highly processed food laced with chemicals, add a little milk thistle periodically or a little curcumin for detoxification. So in summary, before the break, everyone needs multiple vitamin and mineral. Add extra vitamin D. Find your omega-3 source. If you don't like fruits and vegetables, get on the carotenoids and plant-based antioxidants. If you eat a lot of fast food or work in a toxic environment, milk thistle and curcumin for detox. That's for healthy people. Boy, that was quick, but we got it all in. Let's go to our break. We'll be back in just a minute.
You're going along, you know, in life, and suddenly death comes in under the door. Takes your mother, your father, your brother, your sister. Takes your wife or your husband or your children. It can happen slowly, it can happen instantly. In the next 24 hours, 150,000 people will die. And after death, the judgment, and God's going to judge by the holiness of his law. Lust is adultery, hatred is murder, and every time you sin, you store up his wrath, and hell is real, and you're heading there. All liars live apart in the lake of fire. What are you going to do on Judgment Day? But fortunately, God is rich in mercy, and he provided a Savior who died for you on the cross, rose again on the third day. And if you repent and trust in him, God will grant you the gift of everlasting life. And he just say, please get right with God today. Don't put it off till tomorrow, because you don't know what tomorrow will bring. You know, I've found everlasting life. I cannot but speak that which I've seen and heard.
I'll never forget the time I met Dr. Stanley. I told him my idea to plant a church for broken and hurting people, but that I was afraid. He said, Brian, don't you know God will take responsibility for all of the consequences of a heart that's fully devoted to him?
Sunday at 7, Monday at 8. You're watching Life Christian Broadcasting Network, serving El Paso, Alamogordo, New Mexico, and Cheyenne, Wyoming.
Welcome back, everyone. As I said before, it is such a blessing to be with you today. We just love talking to you, and we love being able to guide you, educate you, and help you with your health concerns, and to show our appreciation for you. Today, we're celebrating you at BioInnovations. We're having what we call our Bio 50 sale. That means 50% off on all of BioInnovations' own brand of items that we bring you. That's the bionutrients. That's the skincare. 50% off all of those Aloha juices that you know are so fabulous when they're by the case. Great. And you know what? Free shipping on orders over $50 in the mainland USA. We are doing what we can to get us all back on track and to help you improve your health. Richard, yes. I know that we get to do this every now and then, but we want America strong. We want America healthy. And yes. It's our goal to help empower the people so they know what to do. They understand. I think that's it. It's, you know, when our parents went to the doctor, they came from an era when you went to the doctor and you didn't really ask questions.
That's true.
And when the
That's
doctor
true.
had time to talk to you.
Yes.
But that's not how it is
That
today.
era is gone. We
Right.
have to take on more and more responsibility of our own health care.
Right.
And, you know, I always say, obviously we can't perform our own surgeries,
Right.
but the things we do on a daily basis, how we eat, how we exercise, the supplements we take, we can learn more about that. And folks, the big lie that everyone seems to have swallowed is that dietary supplements aren't powerful. That's the biggest lie you'll ever be told. They are among the most powerful agents I've ever encountered. Every bit as powerful as medicines. The key is they're like tools. If I have a half-inch nut to undo, using a screwdriver isn't very helpful. If your problem is a nutrient deficiency, no drug
Right.
will fix it, folks. You have to use the nutrients to do that. And the studies show over half, it's like 70% of all Americans are at least deficient in one nutrient at least. And most of us are low in multiple. Vitamin D, of course,
Right.
is the big one.
Well, let's talk to another person.
Let's do.
And see if someone out there needs our help.
I'll bet,
Okay.
I'll bet we find one.
All right.
Okay.
Let's go to Virginia and welcome Regina. Hi, Regina.
Hello, Dr. Becker and Cindy.
Hi.
Thank you so much for your program and all that you do.
Oh, thank you so much. How are you, Regina? What's on your mind?
Well, I have a couple of things going on and
Okay.
need your help in what might be best for me.
Okay.
I am a type 1 diabetic.
All right.
I also have some cardiovascular disease. I had a cardiac stent in
right.
2005.
Uh-huh.
And I'm taking medications, insulin, 2 different types, a diuretic, Ramipril, hydrochlorothiazide, and just was wondering, and also a simvastatin, I'm sorry, so a statin.
Yes.
Just wondering what natural supplements that I could take that would be beneficial for me.
Absolutely. How are your blood glucose levels doing, Regina? Are you under control?
Not really.
Okay.
My hemoglobin A1C runs about 7.3.
It's a little high, but not too bad. You know, you're a little high. Did you know you're on several medicines that lower vitamin D levels? Has your doctor checked your vitamin D level?
Yes, at my last check, which was about 3 months ago, it was fine.
What was fine? Because not everybody agrees on what a normal vitamin D level is.
Well, I don't actually have the number
Okay.
or percentage. That I don't have, but I was
Okay.
told that it was fine.
Well, you know, when you order the lab test, the lab report comes back that says anything over 20 nanograms per milliliter is normal. That's a standard from 30 years ago. The newest information tells us, and it's not just 1 or 2 studies, Jerry, it's many studies. You want to be 50 to 70. Simvastatin lowers vitamin D levels. Diuretics lower vitamin D levels. Unless you work outdoors, and even if you do, unless you're taking vitamin D, I am virtually assured that your level is maybe 25, 23, okay? I recommend, first thing I want you to do is find out exactly what that level is. And you're shooting for 50 to 70 ng per milliliter, ml. That stands for nanograms per milliliter. I'm sorry for the technical talk, but it's important. 50 to 70. Now, here's one of the reasons why I'm suspicious of this. When we're low in vitamin D, we tend to hold salt and we tend to raise our blood pressure. And if you're diabetic, you're going to get an ACE inhibitor or an ARB, angiotensin receptor blocker. It is interesting to note that we have multiple studies now that show when you're low in vitamin D, your renin and angiotensin levels go up. That's why they use those drugs. Well, maybe you don't need the drug after all. Maybe all you need is vitamin D. Now, your doctor will counter, but I'm trying to protect the kidneys. Studies have shown if you take an ACE inhibitor for a diabetic, it protects the kidneys. I'm all for that. I want to protect the kidneys. But your ACE inhibitor does not replace vitamin D. It is not vitamin D. It cannot do what vitamin D does. It just compensates for some of the symptoms. So you can understand, Regina, I have some concern. If we're diabetic, if we're having trouble controlling our blood glucose levels, we're on blood pressure medicine, we're on diuretics, we're salt sensitive, that's vitamin D deficiency, even if it has a 23 blood level. that the old standard says is okay. We know way more about it now than we did back in those days. So that's the first thing I'd like to look at. All right, that's reasonable. Let's get it up to 50 to 7. Let's say you are around the 20 mark. What I would do is I would take 10,000 units of vitamin D3 every day for 30 days and then go down to 5. And do that for another 30 days and then recheck the blood level of vitamin D, looking for a 50 to 70 nanograms per milliliter. The next thing I would do, and these recommendations will all help lower your blood glucose. It may mean you have to use less insulin, but that's all right. That's good when we use less insulin. Alpha lipoic acid, that will help with your nerve health. It'll help lower your blood glucose. Milk thistle helps to protect the liver, okay, from the damages of diabetes. Small doses of chromium picolinate. I'm going to send you all this stuff. You don't need to write it down, dear. It's going to come to you. Chromium picolinate, 200 to 400 micrograms. You know, most people don't need these big doses, 1,200 and up. You don't need that. 200 to 400 micrograms should be enough. A little fish oil every day, a couple grams, will help protect your kidneys as well. Grapeseed extract and resveratrol, unbelievable for kidney function in diabetes. See, in diabetes, when the sugar is high, the glucose is high, it creates these advanced glycation end products. And these are free radicals that attack the basement membrane of that glomerular unit, your kidney, and actually changes the chemical structure. This is called free radical damage. And these powerful antioxidants, grapeseed extract, the OPCs, resveratrol, curcumin, they help protect those kidneys. Diabetic-induced nephropathy leads to renal dialysis, which is just a stopgap measure until they can find you a new kidney. Let's be honest. Let's protect our kidneys. This is how we do it. It's just, we need to send her Dr. Rich Snyder's book on what you must know about kidney disease. The nephrologist from Pennsylvania, I might add, not too far from Virginia. Read that and learn how to protect your kidneys. The curcumin's coming. Watch your blood glucose levels closely. You may not need as much insulin. Regina, have we communicated?
Yes, thank you so much.
And I also want to send you our book, Foundations for Healing. There's a whole chapter on diabetes. And I just urge you, dear, all diabetics have to accept responsibility for their condition because you can't go to the doctor every day. And you know what? Responsibility is actually a privilege. It is. Think about it. Don't we all want to control our future as best we can? That is a responsibility, but it's something I want to do as an informed, educated, intelligent person, as I know you are. We have a break. We'll return for your call next.
Life Christian Broadcasting Network.
Hey everybody, this is Pastor Phil from Paradise Point Ministries in the Cayman Islands, and we just want to say how honored we are to be a part of the Life Christian Broadcasting Network family. And we pray that you would prayerfully consider donating either a one-time contribution or a monthly contribution to help them out. Bring God's Word to a world that needs help. It doesn't matter how small or how large, it'll all go to the kingdom of God.
In today's fast-paced, often confusing world, it can seem as though all hope is lost. Feelings of depression, anger, and loneliness can consume us. We are constantly being pulled in different directions as the world attempts to offer us its solutions. Now join Pastor Evangelist Phil Eckstein as he brings messages in a clear and easy-to-understand approach to life. Messages that uplift and offer hope and encouragement. Messages that help us understand God's plan in our lives.
Welcome back, everyone. We are here taking as many calls today as we can, so make sure that you pick up that phone if you haven't already today and get in line. And I've got to remind you today we're celebrating you at BioInnovations. We're having our Bio 50 sale. That is 50% off BioInnovations' own brand of products. Those are the things, the bionutrients that you've grown to love that really work. 50% off the skincare and the Aloha juices by the case. Free shipping on orders over $50. Of course, that has to be in the mainland USA. But for those of you who live in Alaska and Hawaii, we don't want to leave you out. We do our best to get you as the best affordable shipping we can. So, wow, don't miss out on that today. Now, Richard,
Yes.
we get a lot of questions, and one concept that's kind of hard to understand is really the difference between phytoestrogens and progesterones when we're
Yes.
trying to supplement to get our hormones in balance for the ladies.
Okay.
So could you explain, before we get into the next call, the difference between those two?
Plants do not have cholesterol in them. They have sterol. It's similar to cholesterol, but it is not cholesterol. Plants do not make testosterone, estrogen, or any of the sex-based hormones. So when we use the term phytoestrogen, meaning plant estrogen, it's a misnomer, okay? What is actually happening here is the plant makes a molecule that is similar to a hormone, to a cholesterol-based hormone, but it's not. It's not exactly the same. So typical phytoestrogens, like soy isoflavones, they mimic the effect of estrogen, but they're very, very weak. They only have 3% of the activity of true estrogen. So what that does is it occupies the receptor for estrogen and blocks the action of estrogen by 3% or so, okay? So what I'm getting at here, if you're the typical woman living with plastics around you and pesticides, all these things that mimic estrogen, you're estrogen dominant, as Dr. Lee coined the term many years ago. You're overwhelmed with estrogen, and your progesterone is not enough to counter it. Using phytoestrogens, or phytoprogesterones and phytoestrogens, help to block that action to normalize, okay? So now when we go to progesterone, that's the real deal. That's what we humans make, and use of it is safe enough that it is allowed over the counter. So progesterone balances out estrogen. Estrogen builds up the endometrium. Progesterone causes the slough for the period. See, so we have this balance. In the Oriental thought, it's the yin and the yang, the balance of life. And estrogen and progesterone balance each other. Since most women are so overwhelmed with too much estrogen, especially in their productive years, it helps to balance that out. Does that make more sense?
It sure does.
So the use of phytoestrogens are extremely safe and health promoting. Use of estrogen, you gotta be very careful with them. You need to know what you're doing and do precision testing to know what you're doing. Phytoestrogens, you could eat a cup of it, wouldn't make it that much difference. Okay?
Well, that is why in our Healthy Balance kits that we put the phytoestrogens as the supplements.
Yes.
You know,
Yes,
then we
yes.
have that actually in
Yes,
two different
and it is
versions.
highly effective, but it's not toxic or dangerous.
But you don't have to take the progesterone. That's something
No,
if
you
you
do
were
not.
dealing
You
with
do not.
other symptoms you may want to do.
But if it's worth a try for a lot
Sure
of
is.
folks, because balancing out that estrogen, the need for that happens anywhere age 14 up to 85.
Amazing.
So,
Great.
Yeah, it can be very
Well,
helpful.
thank you so much. I know a lot
I
of
hope
ladies
it-
watching today really wanted to
absolutely.
get, have that explained a little bit
You know,
further.
the hormone is so complicated.
It's very
It
complicated.
takes quite a while to feel comfortable with it.
It is,
And
right.
I understand that. I get it. I get
Good.
it. Okay.
Well, let's
All
talk
right.
to someone. You want to?
Let's do.
All right.
All
Let's
right.
go to Minnesota and welcome Jan. Hi, Jan.
Hi, Jan. Are you there?
I am here. I want to thank you. You guys are a godsend.
Oh, quit it. Thank
no,
you so
I'm
much.
serious. You are such a godsend and answer to prayer.
Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'm humbled. I hope I can help you, Jan. Thank you so much. How can we help you, girl?
Well, actually, I've got a very complex medical history.
Okay.
So it's hard to condense it all, but I'll do my best. I have a history since I was about the age of 5, but wasn't officially diagnosed until 15 with rheumatoid arthritis.
Okay.
I have since developed Felty syndrome. And from there developed lymph hyperplasia, which they told me not to worry about. I also had a hysterectomy and have also developed an IgA deficiency due to a splenectomy.
Okay.
So I deal with chronic infections. I also have a problem with irritable bowel on occasion.
You have the yeast syndrome.
I do.
I promise
because
you.
You're right.
Yes.
I know.
I know. Yeah.
I also have acid reflux horribly since this last spring. I never did before.
Okay. Okay.
And so I think I also have hypothyroid and a duodenal ulcer. Did I mention everything?
How's your vitamin D levels doing?
I think they're okay. I do take 5,000 a day. I'm
Good, good.
I'm
Good.
5 foot, 100 pounds.
Yeah. That should be enough. Yeah, but you live in the north, you know, so you have those long winter days with not much sunlight, right?
Right, right.
Well, let's get everybody up to speed now. I'll try to explain. I may have to finish the concept after the break, but we'll get to it here.
Okay.
The spleen is a very unique organ. Its main job is to check the cellular integrity of each cell that goes through the bloodstream. If there's a red blood cell that has an abnormality in it, the spleen identifies it and it plucks it out of circulation and recycles it, okay? If you have bacteria in your bloodstream, it assesses the perimeter of that cell, the cell membrane. If it does not meet the criteria of your cells, it plucks it out and it helps you fight that infection off. So when you remove the spleen, you are susceptible to a certain group of bacteria, Salmonella, gram-negative bacteria with coating, with a specific polysaccharide coating on its shell. You no longer recognize that. And so you're susceptible to infections. Now, let's go to our break and let's outline a program for improved immunity. The great thing about this program is it can be for those who've lost their spleen. It can be those who have been through cancer and their immune system is shot. It could be those who are vitamin D deficient. It could be immune suppression from a variety of reasons. So not only for you, Jan, but for anyone who's struggling with one infection after another when we return.
Join Life Christian Broadcasting Network Sunday through Thursday at 6:30 p.m. for ILTV's Everything Israel, Israel's Voice in the World newscast. ILTV is an independent English-language media company based in Tel Aviv that provides daily news and entertainment to viewers around the world. ILTV News is high-quality content in a broad array of subjects, from reporting unbiased news and current events to programming that highlights technology, art and entertainment, sports and culture. Tune in to ILTV News on Life Christian Broadcasting Network to enjoy watching daily news from Israel and around the world with unbiased reporting from Tel Aviv through our daily ILTV newscast. Join us Sunday through Thursday at 6:30 p.m. for daily news from Israel, right here on Life Christian Broadcasting Network.
Watch Life Today and start believing in miracles again. See relationships restored. Be encouraged by knowing you're not alone in your struggle. Find hope in overwhelming situations. Life Today not only gives you the opportunity to be inspired by the fascinating guests and dynamic teaching, but also encourages you to help hurting people in devastating circumstances around the world. Join us weekdays on this channel as we share life together on Life Today.
We're back. We've been talking with Jan from Minnesota. She has had her spleen removed, and since the spleen is a very important part of our immune system, she's susceptible to one infection after another. This is more common than people realize. You know, ruptured spleens, sickle cell patients tend to, over time, their spleen becomes dysfunctional because it's overworked all the time. They can get a huge spleen, great big old huge spleen. So this is really more common than most people realize. What we want to do is we want to supplement so that our adaptive and our innate immune systems work better. Now, our innate immune system recognizes self. So when a cancer cell pops up, that's no longer self, it gets rid of it. This arm of the immune system also recognizes viruses. You know, viruses aren't really alive like bacteria. They're just a bunch of chemicals that get injected into your cell, into the DNA. They take your DNA hostage. They override your DNA message and insert their own message into your DNA, so your cell becomes a slave to the virus. And your innate immune system recognizes the change in the cell and destroys your cell in order to get rid of the virus. It has to do that. That's why you get mucus with a cold, right? Okay? So that's the innate arm. Now the adaptive arm, every bacteria, virus that comes along, not so much the viruses, but the bacteria primarily, it's the changes of life. You have to adapt to that. We have substances that activate both of these arms. That's your entire immune system, okay? Now, it is related to the secretion of antibodies. She mentioned she has immunoglobulin A deficiency due to splenectomy. Other organs make immunoglobulin A, so we can augment their production with this approach. Medicinal mushrooms, beta-glucans, they're unbelievable. They amplify both the adaptive and innate immune systems. It'll make such a huge difference for you. If you don't like the idea of taking mushrooms as a medicinal agent, get the extracted beta-glucans. NSC is a good brand. If you want to do that, I have no problem with that. I take both. I'm a cancer survivor. I don't believe I'll get a second chance. I'm going all in now. And I think you should take the same attitude, Jan. You're missing an organ. Yeah, you know, just do all you can do. The medicinal mushrooms, that's the reishi, maitake, ABM, I forget them all. That's the 4 medicinal mushrooms. They're all together in the medicinal mushroom combination. Cordyceps is another nice addition. Inositol, IP6, very helpful to activate natural killer cells. That's what you want to do. You want to activate those natural killer cells. Royal jelly plays a role. Now we're getting into some agents that will help get rid of this yeast too. Anti-yeast agents, royal jelly, olive leaf. And for everybody, vitamin D. Now, Jen, you're already on the vitamin D, so you don't need any more than you're already doing. You're doing a good job there. But most Americans are low in vitamin D. Remember, vitamin D is a hormone, and it's a hormone involved in immunity. You'll have a very hard time fighting infections without it. Jan, I want to send you Foundations for Healing. The entire book is really written for you because it's all about how the yeast syndrome and dysbiosis can lead to all these different health conditions. I think you'll find this very helpful for your condition. So, anything else on your mind, Jan?
Well, yeah, I do take, now, sometimes when I take the 5,000, which comes in 1 capsule,
yeah.
I sometimes have a fatigue effect a couple hours later. Is that normal?
Well, are you sure it's from the vitamin D?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Okay.
I kind of doubt it's from the vitamin D.
Okay.
You know, I don't take supplements every single day of my life. Some days I wake up and say, you know, I don't think I need it today. But the majority of my days I supplement. You know, there's nothing wrong with taking a day off here or there. You do eat food. And after a while you get your blood levels up. It's not such a problem. But I kind of doubt it's the vitamin D. It could be something else. Well, your care package is coming. Any other questions? Are we good?
Yeah, can I ask you,
Sure.
I've tried taking the B12, the methylcobalamin, whatever that is.
Yeah, but B12.
Yeah,
Let's just
but
call it B12.
it hypersensitizes my nerves, my sciatic. I'm not kidding.
Really?
It's bizarre.
Are you using our brand of B12?
No.
I'm going to send you ours. I think you'll be all right
Okay.
with that.
Now,
See,
in order to...
I think there's 4 different types of B12. They all get converted to the active ones, but some people don't tolerate quite so well. Let's try this one. I think you'll be all right with it.
Okay.
And you know, if your nerves are hypersensitive, you need a little alpha-lipoic acid, so I'm going to send that to you. Are you on fish oil?
I am. I'm on curcumin,
Good,
DCL,
good.
digestive,
Well,
Goji.
you're on the package. You're going to be all right. What you need is the immune-boosting agents.
Okay.
You know, it's very possible that you have a subclinical virus that's keeping your nerves inflamed. Chickenpox is notorious for that. Mono can do that too. Cytomegalovirus, all these viruses that get in our system and stay for the rest of our lives. If we're healthy, we suppress them. If we're on the edge, we're constantly fighting fatigue and nerve pains and all this stuff. Let's get your immune system working, get you on the right supplements. I think you're going to do a lot better. So your care package is coming. Let's go to our break. We'll return in just a moment.
Hello, I'm Ted Baer, publisher of MovieGuide.org.
And I'm Evie Bear Carroll, his daughter. So this is your family guide to movies and entertainment. And there's a new faith-based movie coming out, The Least of These. Tell us about this movie.
It's about a medical missionary named Graham Staines who's been there for years. I think it's like 17 years. and he's doing missionary work. He's keeping quiet. He's not overtly pushing people to evangelize.
But he's helping people.
Right. He's taking care of the homeless, the needy. He has a compound. He's doing all this good work. He also has some missions out in the countryside, medical missions where he helps people, treats lepers. One of them is up in the mountains. And then a reporter wants to make his name, a Hindu reporter, and he gets involved in trying to expose gram stains as paying people to evangelize. There's a law against that in India. The Hindus are getting more dominant, and eventually what happens is evil takes over. But the movie is about forgiveness, about kindness, about the gospel winning over the forces of evil. It's a very wonderfully well-made, true story that has a powerful plot.
But no matter what, he's there to help the people, right? No matter what the trials and tribulations.
You see that he is a good person, that he cares, that his wife is good. It's a movie that's happening, really, things like this every day.
The persecuted church.
The persecuted church in India and in the Middle East. And I recommend it highly. 4 stars plus 4 for the gospel. But I would put a caution for little kids. I would put a caution for little kids.
Now, is it shown, or is it more just like the heavy themes that are in it?
It could be an acceptable movie for all ages. It's like a movie from the golden age of Hollywood. You don't see the actual horror of it, but you do know that it's happening, and you do know about the good at the end. So
yeah, so probably better though for middle school and up, right?
Middle school and up, but they should see it because we need to know what's going on in the world. You know, Ephesians says, expose the fruitless works of darkness and commend the good. Well, the good is gram stains, and by going to the movie, you can commend the good.
We'll take a look at the full review at movieguide.org.
So fear, unfounded fear, prevents the people from doing good?
And what you do is good?
The conference this year will be done virtually November 13th, 14th, and 15th, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. God has given our conference host, Dr. Agunane, a powerful theme. Joining Pastor IJ will be financial mentor Patricia Parker, Pastor Christy Ahubua from Houston, Dr. Nena Igwe from South Carolina, and Pastor Deborah Yang from Texas. These speakers will encourage us to know that we know it's our problems that should be detained and not our miracles.
We are excited about holding the 3-Dimensional Women's Conference. There will be no charge to attendees at jesusclubonline.org/event. If you have any questions, please contact 915-841-5734.
Hey guys, how's it going? This is Drew from the band Switchfoot, and I've seen the devastating effects that addiction can have. I've had a lot of friends that have gone through hard times, struggling with substance abuse, and just want you to know that if that's you, if you or a friend is struggling with addiction, that there's help. You can find help. There is hope when there seems to be no hope. Teen Challenge is there to help, and they can be a great resource for you or someone that you know. So here's more information. Find out.
Your Health is brought to you by BioInnovations, trusted products for your health and well-being.
Welcome back, everyone. Just a little reminder, we are celebrating you today at BioInnovations with our Bio 50 sale that's 50% off all the bio-nutrients, the Aloha juices by the case, and the skincare. So don't miss out on that, and free shipping on orders over $50. Of course, that's in the continental U.S. Well, let's go to California and say hello to Jeannie. Hi there, Jeannie.
Hi, Jeannie.
Hi, Cindy. Hi, Dr. Becker.
Thank you so much for calling us today. How can we help you? What's on your mind? I hear you had some good news. Is that right?
I'm a good news caller.
Oh, I love good news. Tell us about it.
Well, praise God for what you and Cindy do every day.
To God be the glory. To God be the glory.
Yeah, but he used you to show me about the Heart Smart 4 and the Noni.
Yeah.
Because now I am off my amiodarone and my cardizem.
Really?
and I was all the way to the hospital doctor looking at an ablation for my Afib.
So you had Afib, you watched our program, and you learned about the Heart Smart plan, and you took action, and it helped you?
I am a steady heart rate in the 60s.
Perfect.
And off all of their black box warning medications.
Yes, and you're on quite a list. Those were very powerful medicines, and sometimes they're necessary, of course. But the naturals made a big difference for you.
The doctor can't believe it. He is sure that they just had a misdiagnosis.
Well, I kind of doubt that because Afib is easy to spot.
I was in the emergency room with it, heart rate over 200.
Yeah.
It wasn't a misdiagnosis.
So Afib with rapid conduction. Wow. You know, most of the time they put a pacemaker in there and then try to get you stabilized, but you avoided all that intervention. That's just wonderful. Now, Jeannie, there is a possibility it could come back. And I want you to be sure and stay with your supplements, keep your weight down, try to stay fit, you know, keep your heart strong. It makes a huge difference. Tell us again what you're taking, because this is one of the most common conditions in America for our seniors is this atrial fib. You're taking CoQ10.
Right.
L-carnitine.
Yes.
Are you doing the D-ribose?
Yes, I am.
And the magnesium?
Yes, I am.
How about fish oil? Are you taking that?
Yes.
Fish oil. Well, you got it.
And I switched to xylitol from the bad types of sweeteners.
Yes, yes.
Because I understand it's the same as ribose, or it has the 5-sided sugar.
Yes. Now, I'd have to review my chemistry to see if xylitol is funneled into the pentose phosphate shunt and, you know, what ribose does. It may just, I don't know that, but it's working for you, so I'm not complaining, right?
All the artificial sweeteners.
Yeah, and be careful. You know, the toxicity. This is something that we will always be indebted to Dr. Blaylock for, helping us understand the neurotoxicity of aspartame and MSG and some of these chemical additives that they put in our food chain today. And remember, the conductive system, the heartbeat conductive system of the heart, that's nerve tissue. So aspartame, I get it now. I hadn't really thought about that, but aspartame could induce an arrhythmia in someone who's susceptible that way. That would not be a real common thing, but if it's happening to you, it doesn't matter how common it is. It's something you got to deal with. Well, thank you for your call, Jeannie. Anything else? Anything else on your mind? Time is short, but we have time to answer something quickly for you if you have any other questions.
Does oil of oregano affect the probiotic, or can they be taken together?
Well, that's a good question. Let me answer that before we go. Any antibiotic, any anti-yeast agent, just don't take it at the exact same time. Spread them out. But one of the unique things about these natural antibiotics is studies show they don't disturb bowel flora. They know what the pathogens are. So just for safety's sake, spread them out. Okay? Folks, thank you for your kind attention. Maybe tomorrow your call will get in. And don't forget Cindy's special today. Take advantage of that. We all need a little break with the finances, don't we? Order when the price is cheap. Thank you so much for your kind attention. Hope to see you tomorrow. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Choice. Is it? Really? Or is it silly to say that a choice is given when no voice is given to the one whose life is taken away? No, not silly. Tragic. A tragedy of epic proportions where epic distortions have led to an epidemic of holocaustic abortions. Murder. Yes, I said the word. It isn't easy to hear, but it needs to be heard. So it needs to be said. Because blood has been shed. Because babies are dead. So I will not opt for a soft word instead. Choice? Yes, choices are made. Some choose to silence babies' heartbeats with violence, and hitmen called doctors choose to get paid. Now here's where it gets dramatic, where I get labeled a right-wing extremist, a religious fanatic. But let me be emphatic. I'll take any name as long as I proclaim Christ and save babies from being sacrificed while I'm at it. That would make me ecstatic. So go ahead and aim your verbal automatic and fire away and get erratic. To me, that will not be in the least bit problematic. But here is where the problem lies. It's where Christians choose to compromise. It's where we choose to cover up our eyes while baby after baby dies. It's where sinners are sinking into hell and we have saving truths we choose to refuse to tell. That's the reality. That's the current mentality. Some offer baby girls and boys to an idol called choice in the name of convenience and individuality, while Christians refrain as sinners perish in vain and babies are slain through legalized medical brutality. So where is the hope? For the Christian who's failed to take a stand, he still extends his nail-pierced hand. So for the sake of his glory and the sake of his fame, let him fan your flickering flame and casting aside the fear and the shame, repent and obey and speak truth in his name. So where is the hope? For the sinner, there is faith and repentance, because God can wipe away your sentence, because he chose to send his son, the one he chose to sacrifice in the sinner's place, so he can give sinners grace. Because there is no sin without or within that his redeeming blood cannot erase. He can impute to sinners his righteous perfection through his death and glorious resurrection. So don't let it get distorted. You can be forgiven even if you've aborted. That's the truth. Don't ignore it. If your heart is contrite, he'll make it right and restore it. Choice. Some will make the choice to arise, to open their eyes, to see through the lies, to turn from foolish to wise. Choice. Some will make the choice to refuse, to reject truth and good news, to still stumble and snooze, and they'll have a whole lot to lose. Choice. What will you choose?
You are watching Life Christian Broadcasting Network on KSCE Channel 38, serving El Paso, Texas, Las Cruces, New Mexico, Ciudad Juarez, KGSC Channel 33, serving Cheyenne, Wyoming, and surrounding areas, serving Christ everywhere.